Santiago del Carmen Maria, the queen of crowning thought. I speak truth unapologetically. It's my
Stolen land hypocrisy. Trump's America repeats Hitler's playbook: immigrants terrorized, citizens murdered, and the cult cheers the victims as terrorists. The irony is suffocating, and it's time to call it out without apology. Millions of Americans live on land stolen through genocide, forced removal, and broken treaties from indigenous peoples, yet scream the loudest about illegal immigrants invading the country. This isn't just ignorance, it's weaponized racism, a deliberate blindness that fuels Trump's deportation machine while history screams warnings we're too arrogant to hear. We're repeating the darkest chapters of the 1930s when another authoritarian rose on hatred of the other, rounded up scapegoats and turned neighbors into informants. Today, it's happening again. Peaceful protesters beaten and arrested, immigrants hunted like animals, assaulted, injured, killed, and subjected to sexual violence in ICE custody. American citizens aren't even safe. Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen and LGBTQ+ woman, was gunned down by ICE agents in Minneapolis on January 9, 2026, in a raid gone lethally wrong. And Trump's response: his administration rushed to label her a domestic terrorist. Before the blood was dry, even as video evidence shows her vehicle turning away when shots rang out, this is the new normal under Trump's regime. Victims smeared, killers protected, and a cult of followers parroting the lies without question. Good's death wasn't an unfortunate accident. It was the predictable outcome of an enforcement apparatus unleashed without restraint, agents empowered to use deadly force in routine operations. Witnesses and body cam leaks contradict the official story. No weapon drawn by Good, no immediate threat, just panic and prejudice pulling the trigger. Reports suggest the situation escalated sharply after agents learned she had a girlfriend, raising grave questions about whether homophobia and misogyny played a role in the fatal decision. In Trump's America, being a woman, being queer, or simply existing while brown can get you killed by the state, then branded a terrorist to justify the murder. The parallels to Hitler's Germany are undeniable and deliberate. Back then, Jews, Roma, LGBTQ+ people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents were demonized as threats to the nation, stripped of rights, rounded up in camps, and worse. Propaganda painted victims as criminals or terrorists to silence outrage. Today, Trump calls immigrants animals, rapists, and invaders poisoning the blood of America, language lifted straight from fascist playbooks. His mass deportation force, swollen to historic sizes with a $28.7 billion budget, conducts military-style raids in communities, workplaces, and homes. Detainees face rampant abuse. Sexual assaults in custody have surged, with watchdog reports documenting forced relations, groping, and rape by guards who face little accountability. Deaths in detention hit record highs, over 50 in the past year alone, from medical neglect, suicide, and violence. Protesters standing in solidarity are met with tear gas, batons, and arrests, labeled Antifa terrorists by the administration. Yet the saddest, most infuriating part is the complicity. Those who swore never again. After learning about the Holocaust, the same ones with profile pictures overlaid with yellow stars or "I stand with" slogans are silent or cheering as history repeats. Trump's cult echoes his smears without hesitation. Victims of raids become terrorists. Murdered citizens like Renee Good get posthumously villainized, and survivors of abuse are dismissed as liars. This isn't blind loyalty. It's active participation in evil, a willingness to believe any lie that justifies cruelty toward the other. American citizens are waking up to the danger too late. Renee Good's killing proves no one is safe when the state grants itself unlimited power. She was born here, lived here, loved here, and died here at the hands of agents hunting someone else. If they can murder a citizen in broad daylight and call her the terrorist, what protects you? LGBTQ+ Americans face heightened risk. Reports show queer detainees targeted for extra abuse, and now street-level enforcement seems poisoned by the same hate. Women, people of color, activists, anyone who doesn't fit the MAGA mold is vulnerable in these dangerous times. The hypocrisy on immigration is the rotten core. This land was never empty when Europeans arrived. It was home to hundreds of sovereign indigenous nations thriving for millennia. Colonizers brought smallpox, slaughter, and theft, reducing populations by 90% in some regions through deliberate genocide and forced marches like the Trail of Tears. Treaties were signed, then broken. Reservations were promised, then shrunk. And today, descendants of those invaders clutch their legal titles while raging against migrants fleeing violence and poverty, many of whom have indigenous blood themselves, displaced by the same colonial forces centuries later. Trump's America is built on that original sin, yet demands purity from newcomers. It takes breathtaking racism to live on stolen land and complain about immigration, to ignore the ongoing dispossession of native peoples while building walls against families seeking safety. We're not protecting anything. We're perpetuating the cycle of conquest. We are living in dangerous times, and the enablers, politicians crossing their arms, judges delaying justice, media normalizing horror, will share the blame when the history books are written. But remember this: when it's over, the system that allowed it can never be trusted again. Every bootlicking collaborator, every silent moderate, every official who looked away must be removed from power. No amnesty for complicity. Rise up. Protect your neighbors, document the abuses, support the victims, vote out the cult. This isn't inevitable, it's a choice, and we can choose resistance over repetition. The spirits of those murdered, assaulted, and deported demand it. Renee Nicole Good's blood cries out for justice. Answer the call, follow so we can stay connected. Your support matters more than you know, and I appreciate every moment you give to listen. Your support is important to me, and it helps me a lot. It keeps me active, bringing you important information with your support and comments, likes and shares. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe. I will always provide content for you. I appreciate every support you give. Crowning Thoughts, True Speaker, copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all and I appreciate each of you. Stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Love always. Santiago D.C. Maria.